Leon, the transfer window's closed. How much attention do you and your teammates pay to what's going on around the club at those times?
Usually it's quite lively, and you have TVs up in the canteen and everywhere, but I can only speak for myself. I actually haven't followed at all, just few bits here and there, but I don't know, for whatever reason I was not that phased this year or this January.
You've had a couple of new additions, new teammates. What stage are you at in terms of having met them and trained and so on?
I mean, they're in the building, they're in training. Fabio is the one who came first, so he's well integrated, I would say. The other two, they are good boys from what I can say so far, but I think I've met them yesterday, I think, for the first time, so I can't really say too much now, but they seem to be good characters, which is what we need, and then the rest we'll reveal in the weeks to come.
What does it do for a squad when new additions arrive? Is there a natural boost to everyone though, knowing that they've been identified to come and help and even competition for places?
I think the natural thing is that you observe them at first and then you try to have your verdict. But here, what I've witnessed all the time that I've been here is that you just welcome them and make sure they understand what we're about, what we are trying to achieve, and then just make sure that they have a smooth transition and have it as easy as possible.
Because in the context of the season, you have one trophy in the bag, you look at the gap at the top. Is there a feeling in the dressing room that a couple of clever pieces of business in that window and maybe you can kick on and win that league?
That's always the goal, obviously. I mean, we're challenging. That doesn't change regardless of who comes in or who doesn't. So like I said before, the main thing is that we get those boys in line and make them understand what we're trying to achieve. And then it's also on them to show that the club has made the right decision.
Leon, you're one of the senior players at the club, been here for many years. When new boys come in, especially when they're young and from a different country, do you take it on as one of the players to almost take them under your wing, show them about, ease their transition into the club because you've done it before?
Yeah, and then another element obviously is me coming in, or when I came to the UK to the Premier League, 5.5 years ago, I was in their shoes, coming from a different country, so that's another thing where I identify myself with them. But I think overall I've always tried to be somebody who tries to make people feel home, because I know what it's like. I've been on the road now for 16 years almost, always away from home, so there's always an element obviously of being homesick, especially when you're young, and it's important that you really make players feel welcome and give them a sense of being at home away from home.
Yeah, and you want them to. Do you feel like Scotland's your home now, and is that something that you can almost show them your journey?
Funnily enough, it kind of feels like home, yeah. Which I would have never thought if you would have asked me that years ago, but I really do feel very settled here. I like the Scottish people, like just outside of football speaking. You're a very friendly bunch, very direct, which I like. Similar to Berlin, where I'm from, more friendly. Not always, but yeah, no, overall very likable. And yeah, I mean, especially I think the trickiest thing probably is the accent. No offense, but something you need to get used to. Yeah, I tried my own bit the other day, and what is it, Robbie Burns? I was told it wasn't too bad, but don't test me now, please.
No?
I'm not prepared.
Maybe next year.
Maybe, yeah.
Leon, you speak there about welcoming new signings and bringing them up to speed about the club. What do those conversations involve? How do you try and prepare people for the pressures and the expectation to really hit the ground running right away?
Oh, that's something I'm not trying to mention too early. I just try to get a feel for the person. But that's just me. What are they about? What sense do I get of them? What do they like? And just try to maybe find some things you have in common so you can speak about something, which then makes them feel maybe like, oh yeah, that's somebody I can relate to, or he can relate to me. Can't come up with an example now, but you just try to get a feel and try to get a sense for it. I think nothing too different from any other job in the world where you come into a new company or a new business and you have new colleagues, and you just try to make sure that you're all on one wavelength, which obviously is not going to happen with everyone always. I think we all know that you can't be friends with anyone all the time, but we try to be at least good colleagues, I would say.
Do you view this as a good time to come into the club? You've had 2 difficult away games. You've started well after the winter break. It's now 4 home games in a row. This is an opportunity to guess, really make the season's ambitions be felt with 4 wins, presumably.
Definitely, that's one. And on the other hand, it's also probably a good way for the new boys to know what this club is about, what's expected. Home crowd 4 times in a row. So, yeah, I think they're gonna see the reality of it very, very soon.
You see that this feels like home now. Leon, how long would you like to stay here or expect to stay here?
Well, that's a tough question, but I always said I want to play as long as possible, as high as possible. If I could retire here at one point, playing at that level here, then that would be something. As of today, I'd sign that straight away.
Have you had talks with the club about extending your contract?
I plead the fifth.
Leon, talking about how settled you say you feel, presumably that's feeding into your performances as well. Would you say you're playing as well as you ever have done under the new manager?
Say the last bit again, sorry.
Would you feel like you're playing as well as you have done since the new manager's come in?
Probably, yeah. I mean, it's vital for anyone, wherever you play, that you feel welcome, that you feel at home, or that you feel comfortable at least. You don't have to feel at home necessarily, but you need to feel comfortable. And that makes it easier then also on the pitch. And obviously it helped me that I've been here before and that I was quite successful with the team, that I liked everyone in the club, around the club. I was liked. So I said it in summer, I felt like coming back home. So I didn't need time to settle. And then it was just about making sure that that it aligns with what I do on the pitch. And I think so far I've done okay.
And the manager was talking about speaking to people during the winter break in La Manga and stuff. What's he said to you? What difference has he kind of made to this kind of sort of renaissance for you, if you like?
Well, I mean, that's a conversation obviously between me and him, but overall it was very positive. I think he was very positive about all the individual talks he held. But then again, I'm sure you understand that we can't really reveal what was being said exactly in there. But it's been good.
Well, I think the European squad will be set to be announced soon. Have you had any discussions with the manager whether you'll be back into that this time?
No, I haven't. But I'm hoping that our relationship does not take a hit because he does not list me. So, no, obviously I'm hoping that I'm going to be involved this time. I think so far, looking at my performances, I've definitely done enough to have him at least consider it. But yeah, I guess then time will reveal.